Hello, I'm Scott Averbuch, and we're here today with a very special guest, Jerome Averbuch, president of Averbuch Enterprises, my dad. Dad, the Huntsville Times ran an article just recently, and they interviewed you and mentioned that you've been involved in real estate in the Huntsville metro area for over 50 years. Is that possible?
Scott, don't give away my age like that, but that is correct. We've started out, as you know, building homes here, and we built hundreds of homes in the 60s in Huntsville, and we also built hundreds of apartments and condominiums over the years here in Huntsville, and still have apartments, country club apartments and Malibu apartments that we still rent today that are in, prime locations.
Country club's located over by Crestwood Hospital, and they're leasing now, have 1 and 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, on Airport Road.
Right. And then Malibu Apartments located outside Gate 1 near my main office. And it's really the closest apartment, one of the closest residential choices for people coming from the Brack buildings and the Sparkman Center and the other office buildings inside Martin Road and Redstone Arsenal.
Right, you're just a couple of minutes away from the ramp that goes into the Arsenal and the Sparkman building and all that. Strategically located.
All right, let's go back 50 years for another minute here.
Okay.
So you started out, you weren't 100% in Huntsville initially, you were building in 2 cities.
Right, I grew up in Nashville and went to Georgia Tech, graduated from Georgia Tech in Atlanta, and went back to Nashville and started building homes and selling homes. I actually had my real estate license at a young age, just like you, who had your license, I think, when you were 20, and your broker's license, I believe, when you were 21.
That's right.
So you've been in it a long time. I've just been in it a longer time.
For a period of time, there was a period there where you were spending basically a half a day at homes being built in Nashville and in Huntsville, and you were basically eating lunch on the road and spending a half a day in each city. Is that right?
That's correct. Actually, it was each day. You're correct. Each day I was in each city approximately a half a day and spent one night, in one city and the next night, but traveled back and forth. And then eventually, when you were born, it was getting more difficult to work 18 hours a day and travel back and forth like that. So. Your mother and I decided to move to Huntsville, and one interesting point is I had told her, and I don't know if I've told this to anybody else, but I had told her that we'll live in Huntsville a couple of years and then we'll move on to Atlanta, since I went to school in Atlanta and she was from Atlanta, but we liked Huntsville so much, and we thought it would be a great place to raise our children. And my business expanded that we decided to stay here.
You're still here 50 years later.
And 50 years later, still here.
Still here, and we still have housing options for consumers, leasing, and of course our company, Averbuch Realty, handles new construction, existing very old homes, historic homes, homes on the lake, all over. So there's things we do all over the market. That's an interesting story how you came to Huntsville. Also, other things that happened in the 60s, you were a past president of the Home Builders Association, and I know our parade of homes that we have every year through the Home Builders Association is still thriving and an important part of the housing industry. You and some of the early committees helped change the format, I believe. Is that right?
That's correct. They started out, the Home Builders Association started out actually building signing 2 or 3 builders to build 2 or 3 homes, and the profits from those homes was what helped the home builders to cover a large part of their expenses. But we really needed more funds than we were getting off those homes, so I actually came up with the idea to have subdivisions and have lots that we would get a percentage of what was sold, and that also eliminated the risk of the home builders. And they are still doing that today, so I'm proud of that idea that I came up with on during the format that we have today.
It's worked great. The scattered site format has worked great. They sometimes have a primary site, but they're scattered all over the county and the metro area with housing in all different price points, and probably would have never imagined it grown to as large as it is today, but it's still a viable part for realtors and home builders all across our market.
And I'm real proud of the home builders and what they've done over the years and the improvements that they've made, and I've attended some of those parade of homes over the years, and it's constantly grown, and they just do a great job. I'm not active in the home builders now. In fact, they made me inactive and put me in the Hall of Fame, and I just stepped aside. But they're doing a terrific job, and everybody ought to get out and see the parade of homes when it does come available.
Another thing we like to do when we're not doing leisurely things or watching football or other things, we like to talk about the trends in the real estate market here locally. How land's being used, how things are other developments are coming along, and how they affect our marketplace. You've been involved, and we've been involved together in some of the innovative real estate projects over the year. The one that comes to mind is Park Plaza offices in downtown Huntsville. I believe was the first office condominium in the state of Alabama.
That's correct. It was, and it's was at its time a very large office complex, for Huntsville, and it's right across from the Museum of Art on William Street, which I think most people are familiar with.
It's just a really convenient location. What's great is you've got occupants and businesses and physicians and other people down there, some that own their space and some that lease their space, and so it gives lots of options and a different way for a typical office space, typical rented office space to
That's correct.
proceed. The other project that is also by Gate 1 at Redstone Arsenal is Office Park South, which was a project you were involved with, mainly high-tech companies, but there's other types of tenants in there as well.
That's the 3 office buildings on Boulevard South that have the blue glass on them, and we have some spaces now that are available. It's top location, Class A office space, and we are seeing the market starting to really pick up. It was slow for about 6 months or a year, but just in the last month or two, it has picked up considerably.
That's good news, and I think we always want to remind everybody that it's locally owned and managed.
That's correct.
So, as is Averbuch Realty, it's locally owned and managed, and we've had a lot of continuity. I think a lot of companies have changed. They've added, in my business, have added franchises. They've removed franchises. We've had basically the same logo. In fact, our logos at Averbuch Enterprises and Averbuch Realty look very similar.
They're almost identical.
So the A in the triangle there is an important branding that we've had around since the early 80s, and that logo stayed consistent. And we're proud of our sign and that name and the stability that shows in this local market.
Scott, I really enjoyed brainstorming with you, and one main reason is because of your expertise. I know you graduated from the University of Texas with a real estate degree, and also had your real estate license when I think you were 20, and your broker's license when you were 21. And with that educational background and the fact you've been in business for many, many years and grew up in Huntsville and know the terrain, so to speak, and many people, you're a good person for me to brainstorm with, because I respect your knowledge and information. Even though I've been around a lot longer than you have, I've learned a great deal from you, and I hope we'll be able to continue that brainstorming for many years to come.
Well, I'll tell you, you set a good example for me, and I haven't made it to 50 years, but I've been in business over 25 years, which is still hard for me to believe. also, and seeing your example is always helpful, the way you treat your customers and the people you deal with on a daily basis. And we have fun. We like to have fun when we're doing business too, and that's something I think that I've learned from you and tried to follow that lead.
Another thing that comes to my mind that I'm real proud of you for is that you were president of the Huntsville Board of Realtors, and Scott also was chosen out of I don't know how many thousand of realtors, but he was chosen as the outstanding realtor in the state of Alabama some years ago. So that was a very good honor that I'm proud of you among all your other good traits. So proud to have you as my son.
Right. Well, I'm proud to have you as my father, and we're glad to be here talking real estate. I think the thing now that we like to talk about is what's going on currently in this market, and you've seen cycles. I think you saw some interest rates that were a little higher than we have today. How high did they get during your building career?
I don't remember the exact figures, but I can tell you I do remember when they were 14.5%. And prime rate got up to about 21%, and that was during the Carter administration. I try to forget those interest rates. We're very fortunate to have interest rates. Where are they, Scott, now?
In today's market, we are below 4%, and that's why we keep reminding buyers that this is just one of the best times to purchase a home that we've seen in years. In fact, the National Association of Realtors economist was in Huntsville recently, and he said they've been tracking affordability indexes for years, and that we're at the most affordable time that he's seen in the entire time they've been tracking the index. So again, just an awesome time to make a choice, find an affordable house, and get an incredibly low interest rate.
Scott, I think we ought to take a minute out and thank all of our employees who have worked so diligently over the years, and we've had some that have been with us many, many years, in fact, most of them. And also your agent, Averbuch Realty's agents, who many of them have been with us for years. And they have done a great job, and we want to thank all of you.
Absolutely. We have an incredibly talented group of employees and realtors that have supported our companies for years and have provided the kind of customer service that makes us proud every day with their professional service and the way they treat people the way they want to be treated. It's just so important. We're also so thankful and grateful for our customers, the new ones that have just arrived in our community, and customers that have been loyal to our companies for decades. And we appreciate that so very much, and invite you to call on Averbuch Realty or Averbuch Enterprises for local expertise in real estate. Dad, I also want to thank you for building such a stellar reputation for real estate and paving the way for us in real estate in this community. And I want to thank you for being here with us today. It's been fun, and I always enjoy brainstorming with you.
Scott, thank you for inviting me here. I've also enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure to be here, and want to thank you especially for making me so proud of you with all your accomplishments.